Okay, well I hit the stop button on the feature too early, so we do have 3 more problems to do on the back side. So this is test review module 3. Number 10 reads, write the numbers negative 2.1, negative 1 and 5/6, negative 1 and 2/3, and negative 2.2 in the form of A over B from least to greatest. So we've reviewed this once. This will be a really good chance for us to review this. Remember what the form of A over B means. For this one, I'm going to create a little whiteboard to show my work. And just on the left side here, I'm going to write these in the form of A over B. So the way I do this, I do it in a process. I do negative 2.1 is equal to negative 2 and 1 over 10, which is 2 times 10 is 20, plus 1 is negative 21 over 10. And then my next question is, my next one is negative 1 and 5/6, which is equal to 1 times 6 is, we've done this one before in the same test. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 5 is 11. It's negative 11 over 6. My next one is negative 1 and 2/3, which is 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5, so it's negative 5 over 3. My last one is negative 2.2. That's the same as negative 2 and 2/10, which is 2 times 10 is 20, plus 2 is 22. So it's going to be negative 22 over 10. Now, it's a little bit tricky now to rank them from greatest to least. It really kind of is. But I'm going to use a little common sense. If I look at the whole numbers, I've got whole numbers in the 2's, and I've got whole numbers in the 1's. And I realize these are negatives, but if you picture that number line, I'm going to actually use this answer line as a number line just real quick. So if this is a number line, just in general, where do things go in a number line? When it comes to the negatives, if I have 0 right here, I'm going to have negative 1, then I'm going to have negative 2. Well, I've got 2 whole numbers that are in the negative 2 range, so they're out here. And I've got two whole numbers that are in the negative 1 range, so they're over here. And that's not exactly where they go, but basically I just showed you that the negative 2's would be farther to the left. So what I can do here is just use that thinking to, use my eraser here, use that thinking to decide that the 2 answers that are like negative 1 have to go first, because they're going to be the greatest numbers. But pay attention to the fact that it said greatest to least. So the 2 negative 1's, I'm going to go back to my fractions. These 2 right here are going to be the 2 greater numbers. And it's a little bit hard to compare 11/6 to 5/3, but I could actually fix that really easy. What if I just multiplied the 3 by 2? I'd get a denominator of 6. Now I have the same denominator. Just remember, if you multiply a denominator, you have to multiply a numerator. So that would be negative 10 over 6. And think about negatives. The one that would be farthest to the right would be the greatest value. So believe it or not, negative 1 and 2/3 would be the greatest value. Then negative 1 and 5/6. Then I've got my 2 numbers that would have been in the negative 2 range to go last. And I can just use those in decimal form. I guess I was supposed to write, now that I think about this, the directions, I was writing them back to what they were supposed to be. But it said to write them in the form of A over B, then in least to greatest. So I'm going to go back and redo this. It's negative 5 over 3, comma, then it's negative 11 over 6, comma, and then it's my 2 decimals. And the one that would be farthest to the left would be last. That's going to be negative 22 over 10. So I'm going to put that one last. And then third would be negative 21 over 10. That is definitely one of the harder questions on the test. I hope that what I did helps. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 11. It says, which lettered points in the number line have absolute values that are less than 3? So absolute value means distance from 0. So we are looking for everything that has a total distance less than 0. So what I can, or a distance less than 3. So what I can do is I can actually go to 3, draw a line right here, and I'm looking for things that have a value less than 3. This one to the right of it, barely, E right there, that's a little bit past 3. That's definitely not one of our answers. But D is. and is c is on the negative side, so maybe what I'll do is I'll go do a line at -3. And so everything in between those is going to have an absolute value less than 3. A, this one right here, is just a little bit past -3. It's going to be about -3.1 or 3.2. Well, that has an absolute value of 3.1 or 3.2. That's more than 3. So the options are all those numbers that are in between. So the answer is B and C and D. Okay, one more. And it is number 14. Explain how to write the rational number 3.21 in the form of A over B. We've actually done this a couple times. It says explain how to do it. I'm going to show how to do it and then explain it. So 3.21 can be read as 3 and 21/100ths. And then that can be converted to 3 times 100 is 300, plus 21 is 321 over 100. That doesn't totally answer the question because the question says explain how to. So what I would do is I would say write 3.21 as a mixed number, which is 3 and 21/100ths. And then I put a semicolon. And then what I would say is multiply 3 by 100 equals 300. Add 21 equals 321 over 100. It's probably not the best explanation in the history of the world, but it is thorough enough. It very clearly shows that you know how to do it. Okay, well that is the end of the test review for the practice test. The next videos will show the textbook pages.